Hi, I'm Dawn Masler. Welcome to Love School. This is lesson number 4, an introduction into the 4 phases of love. Most people want this. That sweet, warm, tender-hearted love. The kind where the little old couple is still holding hands after decades together. But how do you get there? Well, that's what this lesson is about. We're going to talk about the stages of love that lead to that long-term love. Actually, my goal is to help you glide effortlessly through the phases of love and stay in lifelong love. Now, if you ask people about love, you hear things like love is a mystery or the head cannot understand what the heart wants. What they're basically saying is that love is confusing and mysterious and puzzling. Even the research on love gets confusing. Some researchers say that people in love are euphoric. Others say that they have this type of craziness about them. Others say they're anxious. And some researchers say they have this groundedness. But they're all calling it the same thing. They all say it's love. No wonder people think love is so confusing. For the last 4 years, I've pored over the latest neurological and biological research on love. And at first it was confusing to me too, but after a while a pattern started showing up. It was very subtle at first, but as I continued on the research, I realized what was going on. There were actually incremental spaces when it came to love. In other words, love is not just one thing. Love changes and evolves over time. And it turns out that love actually follows a very specific time course. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. It's a great thing to know because you can track your progress in love or lack of progress. Love has 4 very distinct stages. These are neurologically and biochemically different from each other. Because of that, you can feel and behave differently at each stage. You may experience this yourself. The first stage of attraction is that one of instant chemistry. That's where your heart starts beating really fast. You get the sweaty palms and you kind of feel nervous. But that feeling is fleeting. As you get to know each other, that feeling starts to change. Sometimes you can start getting even more anxious, sometimes to the point of feeling really uncomfortable. It can move from being exciting to downright nerve-wracking. Or in some, that feeling of attraction just seems to fizzle out. However, if you continue to date and your desire grows, you can experience that delicious euphoric feeling we call falling in love. Everyone enjoys that stage. However, what they don't tell you is that stage is also temporary. But don't worry, there's another better stage afterwards. That's the one of real love. That's the one of the couple on the park bench after years together. That's the one we all want, and that's the reason I did this research. Over the next couple lessons, we'll get more in depth into the stages of love, of attraction, of dating, of falling in love, and finally to real love. So here's the thing. Falling in love is neurologically and biologically very similar for both men and women. However, attraction in dating is not. What's happening inside of our brains is very different. So what makes logical sense for a woman while you're dating doesn't necessarily make sense for a man. That's why dating can be so confusing. But when we understand the science behind it and what's happening in our brains, we can make love, finding love, and keeping love much easier. Also, understanding the phases helps clear up a lot of misconceptions also. For example, people say that you can't help who you fall in love with. That's actually false. You can't help who you're attracted to, but you definitely have choice when it comes to who you fall in love with. Next week, we'll begin by taking a closer look at attraction. And in it, I'll explain what are the single most important things you should be doing if you want to have love in your life. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I'll see you next week for Lesson 5 on Attraction in Love School.